Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're diving into something that I think we all can relate to, wanting the absolute best for our kids. We're always on the lookout for those magic tricks, those secrets to give them a head start in life.
Right. And sometimes the simplest things are the most impactful.
Tell me about it. I mean, who knew that something as basic as reading aloud could be so powerful?
It really is amazing. The research we're looking at today focuses on just that, the impact of reading aloud to young children on their development.
Okay, so just to be clear, we're talking about actually reading aloud, not just like surrounding them with books and hoping for the best.
Exactly. We're talking about those moments of shared reading where you're engaged with your child and the story. This research followed a large group of children over several years to see if there was a connection between being read to and how well they developed important skills later on.
And, drum roll please, was there.
You bet there was. They found that reading aloud frequently had a direct impact on the children's reading and cognitive skills as they got older. And, get this, it held true regardless of things like family income or education levels.
Wait, really? You mean it didn't matter what their background was or what their home life was like?
Not really, no. The study controlled for all of those factors. It's like, imagine you're trying to see if a plant grows better with a certain type of fertilizer.
Okay, I'm listening.
You wouldn't just use the fertilizer on one plant and call it a day, right? You'd want to make sure that other things, like the amount of sunlight or the type of soil, weren't influencing the results. So you'd use the same soil, the same amount of sunlight, the same everything, except for the fertilizer, so you could be sure it was actually making a difference.
So that's what they did with this reading study.
Exactly. They used some pretty fancy statistical analysis to make sure that it was really the reading aloud that was making the difference, not just some other factor.
Okay, color me impressed. But now I'm dying to know, how much of a difference are we talking here?
Get this? Reading to a child 3 to 5 days a week is like giving them a 6-month head start developmentally.
Whoa, 6 months. Seriously. Just from reading a few stories.
It's true. And if you can manage 6 or 7 days a week,
Right.
you're looking at almost a full year ahead.
Okay, now you really got my attention. This is way more impactful than I ever imagined. But how can we be sure it's really the reading itself making the difference? I mean, couldn't it be that parents who read to their kids are also more likely to do other things that boost development? Like, maybe they're just more engaged parents overall.
That's a really good question. It makes you wonder, right? Like, are we talking about a dedicated story time or just generally being more present and engaged as parents?
That's the thing about this research who really dug deep. They wanted to pinpoint the exact impact of the reading itself.
So how did they separate that out? Like, how do you even begin to measure something like that? Well, they use something called multivariate analysis. Basically, it's a way of controlling for those other factors. It's like filtering out all the extra noise to see the clear impact of reading aloud.
Oh, okay, so it's like isolating the reading variable and seeing how it stands on its own.
Exactly. And here's the amazing part. Even after accounting for all those other variables, family income, parent engagement, the whole 9 yards, the impact of reading aloud remains strong.
Yeah.
They were able to prove that it wasn't just a coincidence.
Wow, that's impressive. It's like hard evidence for something we might have just intuitively felt was true.
It is pretty cool, right?
It really is. But let's get down to the nitty-gritty. What is it about reading aloud that has such a profound effect on these developing brains?
Well, think about it this way. When you read aloud, you're naturally using a much richer vocabulary and more complex sentence structures than you would in everyday conversations.
That's true. I've definitely caught myself using words I haven't said in casual conversation, like ever.
Right. And it's not just about the big words either. Reading aloud exposes children to the nuances of language, the rhythm, the cadence. It's like immersing them in a world of words.
That makes sense. So it's kind of like building a foundation for language comprehension from a very young age.
Exactly. And don't forget those pre-reading skills. They are learning how stories are structured, how to predict what might happen next, how to connect the words on the page to the pictures. It's all happening during those shared reading moments.
Wow. I never really thought about it like that, but it's true. Those picture books suddenly seem way more important.
They are. And the study found that all those benefits we've been talking about, they actually translate into real academic success later on.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Children who were read to regularly showed significant advantages in their academic performance, even up to age 10 or 11. It's like a gift that keeps on giving.
Okay, parents out there, I hope you're listening because this is huge. We're not just talking about a fun bedtime routine. We're talking about setting our kids up for success in life. But let's be honest, we're all busy, and finding time for everything can feel impossible. Did this study offer any advice on making reading aloud a habit, even when time is tight?
You know what they say? Consistency is key. It doesn't have to be hours-long sessions every day. Even short bursts of reading, like 5 or 10 minutes here and there, can make a world of
So
difference.
it's more about quality than quantity in a way,
Yeah, exactly. The most important thing is to make it a regular part of your routine.
and to make it enjoyable for everyone involved, right?
Yeah.
Like, if it feels like a chore, it's not going to happen.
Absolutely. The best reading experiences are those spontaneous, joyful moments of connection, when you let go of the pressure and just enjoy the story together.
You just reminded me of something. When I was a kid, my grandmother used to read to me every night before bed. And it wasn't just about the stories themselves, but it was that special time together,
Mm.
that feeling of closeness and warmth. And to this day, those are some of my fondest childhood memories.
There's something truly magical about those shared reading experiences for both the child and the adult. It's a chance to slow down, to escape into different worlds, to simply be present in the moment. And those moments, they have a way of staying with us. It's so true. This has been incredibly eye-opening, and I have a feeling I'm not alone in feeling inspired to make reading aloud a bigger part of my life. But this conversation has sparked another question, and I think it's an important one. If something as simple as reading aloud can have such a profound impact on a child's future, what are we doing as a society to ensure that every child has access to this incredible gift? That's something to think about.
It's amazing how we often search high and low for the best brain-boosting activities for our kids when something as simple and accessible as reading aloud is right there waiting.
It's true, and the beauty of it is that it's never too early to start. Even babies benefit from hearing the sounds of language, the rhythms and tones.
That's right. It's like we're hardwired for stories from the very beginning. So for all you parents out there with newborns, don't hesitate to pick up a board book and just start sharing. Describe the pictures, sing a lullaby, anything that introduces them to the world of language. You're planting those seeds for a lifelong love of learning.
And it's important to remember that this isn't about creating little geniuses or pressuring kids to learn before they're ready.
It's about connection and joy, right?
Exactly. It's about nurturing a love of language, sparking their curiosity, and building those warm, loving bonds that make childhood so special.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Reading aloud is a gift, not just for our children, but for us as well.
Absolutely.
It's a chance to slow down, to escape into different worlds together, and to create those lasting memories that weave families together. So, find a cozy spot, grab a good book, and let the magic of storytelling unfold. That's all the time we have for today's deep dive. We hope this journey into the incredible world of reading aloud has inspired you to create those special moments with the little ones in your life. Remember, even a few minutes a day can make a world of difference. Until next time, happy reading.